And another news story that was not even part of our wider silver screen news show that literally broke just now, so we need to cover it. AJ, please upload this first. When you're
We're
doing
not
the
first.
upload
It's its own
tomorrow.
individual video. We're good.
This is crazy. So the Zelda movie that we reported on, kind of a back and forth report on a few months ago, where I think it was Jeff Snyder at the InSnyder on X was saying that it's coming, and then the reports came out that like, no, there's no animated Zelda movie coming. That's just not a thing. Well, the caveat to that wasn't there's no Zelda movie coming. The caveat to that was it's not an animated movie. AJ, we're getting a live action Zelda. Here is the full story from Total Film via Games Radar, and this is as official as it gets. Nintendo announces live-action Zelda movie in development with director Wes Ball. Nintendo has announced that a live-action film based on The Legend of Zelda is now in development. It will be produced by Nintendo and Arad Productions and is set to be directed by Wes Ball. Nintendo will finance more than 50% of the project, with Sony Pictures picking up the rest of the bill and handling distribution, according to a press release. Quote, I have been working on the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad-san, who has produced many mega-hit films. Shigeru Miyamoto says in a statement on Twitter. Shigeru Miyamoto, the freaking creator of Mario, Zelda, and the president of Nintendo. I have asked Avi-san to produce this film with me, and we now officially started the development of the film with Nintendo itself heavily involved in the production. It will take time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it. Hi, Sensei. Avi Arad is probably best known as the former owner of Marvel Comics and the founder of Marvel Studios, which ushered in the era of the MCU. Of course, people are going to lose their mind about that. While he resigned from Marvel Studios as the MCU was getting underway, he continued to produce Sony's Spider-Man films and their spin-offs. He's also producing the upcoming Borderlands adaptation. Director Wes Ball previously directed all 3 entries in the Maze Runner series, and is currently directing the upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which does look okay, which is due for release in 2024. This announcement follows the wild success of the animated Super Mario Bros. Movie, which was released earlier this year. Rumors earlier this year suggested that Illumination, which produced the Mario movie, was working with Nintendo on an animated Zelda film, which I mentioned before, but those rumors were quickly denied by Illumination CEO Chris Meledandri. AJ, listen, I actually want to hear your take before I go full nerd on this. As the lesser of the Zelda fans between us, your thoughts?
Look, I'm an unknown to Zelda, and Zelda is a world that I want to enter. There's one thing I'm familiar with in Zelda, though, that scares me about this film, especially. I mean, there is a way of doing it. Yeah, we're talking about a character who doesn't talk, but you can be dark and mysterious. You just need a good surrounding cast around you to explain why this character isn't there, and those who can essentially be the narrative for this character to be that. Now, I don't know if Link has those people around him in order to make it happen. He does. If there are characters around Link that can make it happen, let it happen. What I think is a very interesting take on this, and maybe this is just me looking at stuff in a much deeper way. Sony Pictures. Sony own PlayStation. I'm very, very intrigued to see that correlation has been made. Like, it intrigues me. It looks like it's been like this is a mutual friendship that has been lasting the test of time. So it's like, if we're gonna make a film, and probably it was meant to be Illumination, as I like to quote it. I don't like to just say it. I like to sing it like a minion.
Illumination.
Maybe it was meant to be them making the film, but he was like, no. You guys have had fun, and I have no beef with this. But me and this guy have been talking for too long, and if you want the rights to this, if you want this film to come out into fruition, it has to be there. I just find it very weird. I know that, it's a bit of tribalism in a sense here. That, you can't get Spider-Man games on any other platform. I'm just saying. So it's very interesting that you can get a Nintendo movie under a Sony banner. That's what intrigues me on this, as well as the non-speaking character.
Do you know what? In all of that article, as I was just going into my Zelda-gasm moment, I didn't even register that Sony and Nintendo rivalry. Listen, so many people who work inside the video game industry, people like Charles Anazard, you know, people like all of the PlayStation Access guys. The console wars isn't a real thing. It's something that us fans have made up, exactly as you said, as tribalism. Do they poke a bit of fun at each other, like, you know, when there's an opportunity to do so? Sure, who wouldn't? But don't be under any illusion. And case in point, it is literally happening now in front of our eyes. Don't think for a moment that if, you know, a producer of, say, I don't know, Halo's a great example, actually. Halo, Bungie Studios, owned exclusively by Microsoft. Well, now they're a PlayStation brand. To quote Will Ospreay, bruv, you go where the money is. If the right people are the right people for your project, doesn't matter if they're producers, animationists, special effects artists, you get the best person for your job. Behind the scenes, this video game war doesn't exist. There are sales wars for sure, but this whole like, we hate each other doesn't exist, man. It's not a thing. Like, it's something we've all made up. Listen, the correct answer is Sony is the best console because they've got the best original IPs. And if you think that's not an argument, then I don't actually stand. What's the point of buying a console which you can play less for and get the same games on? Right? If I'm going to pay a premium, there better be something there to make me pay a premium. Uncharted, Spider-Man, God of War, Metal Gear Solid, on and on and on and on and on we go. These are just some I'm citing off the top. Ratchet and Clank. We can keep going on this. But we got Forza. Good. Nintendo would be second because they've got Zelda and Mario, which are, you know, Zelda and Mario are basically Batman and Superman of the gaming world. They just are. For all of your Kratoses and your Ratchet and Clanks, Super Mario is Superman. How it should have ended.
Yeah, he is.
Super Mario is literally Superman, and right there is his Batman is Link. Those are the two biggest names in gaming. You can't fight it. Master Chief, shut up. Like,
listen, the only other name that has relevance and he doesn't even have a home anymore is Sonic, and that's the real. That's
Sonic. Maybe Crash. Just
I don't even know if Crash falls into that same category.
He doesn't, but he's been around.
I have love for Crash, but he's not that.
I don't have love. Maybe Lara Croft. Maybe.
No, but look, when you start talking Lara, you start talking Drake, you start talking Snake. Like they're not characters that are hated. But
Snake,
Mario,
I would maybe listen to. Mario and Zelda are on another plane, man. Like for all of the breadth of amazing IPs, exclusive IPs that Sony have, Mario and Link, you know, Legend of Zelda, those are the two biggest IPs in gaming. Like, I could open my freaking Nintendo Switch travel case now.
To be fair,
Mario Golf, it's Super Mario Sunshine, it's Mario Galaxy,
it's Trinity, because Nintendo RDC, the Trinity, the third place does belong to Pikachu.
Oh, 100%. I know people will now scream and say Samus, but no, Pokemon is you can't touch that. You remember that was the Japanese selling crack to young kids when they invented that.
And look, it's come out again, and people are still on it. And this is me as the guy who owned the Sega and waves the flag for Sonic. I can be honest. Sonic has no home. Sonic is like Marvel a few years back when we all knew who Captain America was, but no one was making it. That's where he is. Sonic is on Mario's games nowadays. Just, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. But look, in terms of a movie, the key is what you're saying is that this is a silent character, and Link is a hero. You don't want to make him too emo and brooding. It's going to be a very, very hard task. This are the stories of most Legend of Zelda games cinema worthy? Hell yeah. Don't blow your load by straight away going for the Ocarina of Time. That would only be my thing. Like, listen, for you, AJ, the Legend of Zelda games, some are connected. Like Majora's Mask was a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time. Tears of the Kingdom is a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, which is the franchise they're doing at the moment. But then, for example, the Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild stuff are in no way connected to Ocarina and Majora's Mask. These are essentially, you have to see them as various fairy tales. They're not these big crossover event things. So there are like sequels. In some cases, very rarely you get trilogies, but then that story's ended. Think of it like the standalone Batman movies. That's how to look at Zelda. It's just like, here's one story and here's another version, you know. They have the Batman's a perfect example because it's like, yes, you've got little things that are the same, like the villains, Ganon, Joker. There are consistencies. Oh, Hyrule, Gotham. There are consistencies. The characters remain consistent, but they kind of get reimagined, reinvented each time for a whole new story. So, I mean, you'll be brave if you're going straight away for Ocarina of Time. It's not like you can tell stories that build up to that, because that is very much the first of that little duality between that and Majora's Mask. And it's story-wise, it's one of the most cinematic. It's probably the most, obviously I'd say that, but it's the most cinematic. Oh, Jesus Christ.
But here's the other thing.
Fan casting time. Ocarina of Time has got a big enough story that you could do it as 2 movies alone.
But here's my question to you. Based on the love that you have for this game, how easy is it to create the game that essentially opened the open world universe?
If you cannot, it is not possible to do the Legend of to do the Ocarina of Time as a single movie. It is not humanly possible. There's too much going on. You have to understand. Okay, in a nutshell, dude, this game is like, you've got the first third, and then you've got the 2 other thirds, which are kind of his adult life. You start this game as a child, right? And even as a child, you go on quite the flubbing adventure. You meet the princess, you discover who the evil is, you find out about your origins, you go and meet some of the various cultures and civilizations of Hyrule, where this story takes place. You know, you go to the Gorons, you watch as the nation that you grew up with essentially falls, the Kokiri, and people are, oh, you're building it up to be something big. I'm like, brother, if you know what I'm about to say, here it is. You literally go into your guardian tree, and when you come out, it dies in front of your eyes. The protector of your race that you thought was your race just dies. And as you're leaving, you are being blamed for its death. There's so much drama you can add to this. Then you go meet the princess. Then you go up the mountain to meet the Gorons, and you fight the big fire dragon, the Dongo. Then you go to the water domain to see the Zoras. Then you go back to the castle, and shit hits the fan, because you've now gone to do all these crazy quests to gather these stones to lock the great evil away, right? Problem is, the great evil's already out, and it's chasing the princess. So what you need to do, what happens then in the story is he goes to the Temple of Time. He takes out the Sword of Time, but then he passes out. He gets locked inside this temple, unconscious, for 7 long years. That's where you end the first movie. The second movie is him waking up as an adult. Kind of like, think of a Phantom Menace moving into Attack of the Clones. He's a kid. Now he's a young adult. Right? Annoyingly, Hayden would actually be a really good Link.
So do you want to hit my fan cast?
Don't talk, just do sword stuff. There you go, Hayden Christensen. Cast him. Go on.
Provided he's not had the immense growth spurt that comes with all kids. Tremblay is young Link. Tom Holland is older Link.
Oh, don't tease me. Oh, Jacob Tremblay is young Link. Don't tease me. Oh my word, yes, so much, yes. Everything you've just said, yes. Tom Holland is a good shout as an older Link. He actually almost looks like him, which is very
and he's contracted to Sony, which helps.
And he's got the moves, man. That kid can go. You then need, but the problem is the story of him as an adult is vast. Because where you went to 3 various locations as a kid, as an adult, you start off by revisiting most of those locations and seeing how badly it's gone to hell in those 7 years that you were asleep. So it's a kind of quest of, actually, you could do it that way. So part 2 would be the quest of rediscovering those worlds and fixing them. And then you finish off with the last 2 temples, where you go to the House of the Dead, the Shadow Temple, and then you go to the desert, which is where this big evil called Ganondorf comes from, and you go to the Spirit Temple, and then you finish with the Ganon fight. Okay, you can do Ocarina of Time. Do it as a trilogy. You have my permission to do Ocarina of Time as a trilogy. Go ahead. Miyamoto-san, dozo. I'm so freaking excited, I can't tell you. I always thought this could be amazing as a live action movie because of the story, but man, the fact it's like the fact that we're gonna get this movie and it's official, it's coming. Oh, you know what? Little me from 1998 playing his N64 is just like, yes, it'd be a really good movie. Oh my god.
There's something about 2023, 2020s, I'll say. I feel is paying a lot of homage to the stuff that we appreciated as younger folk. I have to be very honest.
I'll say this. I'm keeping this as a preamble to our top 10 show that closes out the year, but 2023 is the year of the video game IP coming to play, man. There's like 6 IPs that have come out this year, and they've mostly been bangers. So we've turned a corner with video game IPs.
Yeah.
Finally, guys, long video, over to you. Legend of Zelda, it's official, it's live action, it's coming. What do you think? Let us know down below. Anything you want to add before we close this off, AJ?
No, look, as a man who's never played any, I can't really get that excited to be like, I know what to look forward to, but I know there's a lot of love for it, and with that, like, bring it on, because I'm down. It sounds exciting. I just want to know how to do the silent character part, but I'm sure that they're working on it. As you said, they're not rushing it. They're not rushing it, and that's what I like to hear. Don't rush it.
Don't rush
it.
Let
it simmer. Let it cook. Let it cook.
Oh, it's exciting. Guys, over to you. Comment down below, and we'll see you very soon. See ya.